Hello, I'm Pat Collins. Welcome to Criminal Justice Matters. On past programs, we've considered several issues related to the field of corrections and the treatment of inmates. We've examined issues related to reentry into society of those who have served their time, such questions as whether prisons should rehabilitate or make punishment their primary mission. But an issue that often gets swept aside is the reality that many inmates leave behind children during their incarceration. Children deeply affected by the loss of a parent. On this edition, we'll get an up-close look at those families in a film entitled The Visit, through which you'll get to meet some of those inmates and their children as they discuss their lives. The Visit was directed by our guest, Lorraine Moller, Associate Professor and member of the Department of Communication and Theater Arts here at John Jay. Lorraine, welcome to the program, and as we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the world of corrections and your work with inmates.
I live in a community that has two prisons for women. One is Bedford Correctional Facility, which is a maximum security facility, and the other is Taconic Correctional Facility. And I became involved with Bedford Correctional at a time when the college program was pulled out in 1994, and the Pell Grants had stopped. And as part of a grassroots effort and as a member of a faith-based group, I got involved in trying to bring college back to the women's prison.
So there you were in a correctional facility for the first time. I've visited a few over my years at John Jay, and there are a lot of misconceptions that people have about that world. What did you learn when you first got there that you didn't expect?
Well, on my first tour, the superintendent spoke about the facility and about the women and their crimes. And I was so engaged in, and there were a group of us, in what she was talking about, that I didn't notice that while she spoke, the room filled with some 25 prisoners. And when she stopped speaking, she turned to introduce them. And they were women that looked like women anywhere. They were beautifully groomed. They were beautiful women, women of all ages. They were wearing brightly colored shirts. They spoke, and when they spoke, women would say, women that looked like they were 22 years old would say, "My name is, I've been at Bedford Correctional Facility for 15 years." These were women that looked so young, so capable of having a full life. It just struck me deeply that these were lives that were spent behind bars.
The reality of incarceration as a punishment. Tell me a little bit about a question we've looked at before in this program, and that is the viewpoint of the people in charge of correctional facilities. Where I'm going there is, are they more interested in punishment or rehabilitation, from your point of view?
Well, it depends on the political climate up in Albany. At the time I began in the mid-1990s, the climate was really one based on rehabilitation. And the political climate is always a reflection of what people feel. The drug laws, the mandatory drug laws, had been in effect for a number of years, and people just wanted individuals that were associated with drug crime or crime in general to be locked away. You locked them away and you threw away the key. And rehabilitation was really of minor importance.
We're going to see a film about inmates and their families. How did that film, called The Visit, come about?
Well, because of a contact I had made when I was working at Sing Sing Correctional Facility, which is a men's prison, a gentleman by the name of George Stoney, who was an innovator in the area of cable access, I was encouraged to develop a relationship or develop an initiative with Manhattan Neighborhood Network, which is located just around the block from John Jay on 58th Street between 10th and 11th. And in doing so, because I had some background in film production, and this goes back many, many years, 5 years of an apprenticeship, I felt like there was a need, there was an opportunity to develop video skills here by young students who were interested in criminal justice issues. What could be more important? And so we began the development of a course called Video Production Basics and offered it the first year. The students generated a number of projects, and for the second semester, their charge was to develop a 25-minute documentary film. I strongly preferred that those films be criminal justice based. And ideas floated around, such as an individual who was recently released from a 25-year sentence. And we did that film. The students did that film and did a wonderful job. Another film idea that developed was a prison visitation program which transported the families of incarcerated mothers and fathers to various Hudson Valley prisons. And students in that course, who are now working in the AV department, did that film. A third idea was a family visitation program behind the walls, and that's where the visit came in. I tried to jumpstart the visit during the class, but because of clearances getting into the prison and working with the Department of Corrections, it took a bit more time. But that was really the genesis of the idea here at John Jay.
We've got to get to that film in just a moment so we can get the whole thing in, but before we get to it, there are several organizations involved in this project. Could you talk about them for a little bit?
Sure. The Osborne organization, I should say, association, has a visitation program for women which transports families, caretakers, children to visit their incarcerated mothers up in this prison, which is 40 miles south of the Canadian border. Most of these families are from the New York City area, so we're talking about a great expense. We're talking about spending a lot of time in a bus.
What is the takeaway message for those of us viewing this film as we're about to?
The importance of bonding between mothers and their children, especially mothers that are incarcerated, cannot be underestimated. Women who've been separated from their children are not unlike women anywhere who are mothers. The process is disabling and emotionally traumatic. And one thing that can help the ease of transition back into the community is to maintain that family bond. So when they come out, they have the kind of support that they need.
On that note, let's take a look.
Thank you.
Get on a bus. Then go to the jail. See our mother for like 2 or 3 hours, or then we gonna come back. It's about to be 2 years I haven't been with my mom.
She's been incarcerated for several years now, and
it's not like she's here all the time. I have to come visit her.
Because they're so far away, most of the caregivers, whether the children are in foster care or whether they're living with relatives or grandparents, cannot afford the financial burden of traveling 10 to 12 hours away.
It helps her cope. Cope with her situation. Like, for instance, she sees us now. It gives her a little more strength to continue going. You know what I mean? Like, gives her something to look forward to. Like, she's been looking forward to this for the last month. So.
No, I don't really tell nobody how I felt about my mother being incarcerated. Because none of my friends' parents been incarcerated, so they really wouldn't know.
Campus police, can I see you for 1 second?
Are you changing my pocket?
They have to each have an ID, and they have to come to recess first before they get an ID. Do you guys have their piece of paper? I just need to see. Tell me, get this paper.
Well, touch your side, come on back through.
Yeah, right, it's just their ID.
Well, pick that.
Their ID. Right.
Is there anything on the inside of your pants? Little magnet? Nothing?
Where's that little girl?
Are you sure there's not even
Fill it out. That's what Tina just said. Can I have that little boy one more time? No, she's the caregiver.
No backpack?
Okay, this little girl right there. Yeah, we'll get it back. This little girl, show me your ID. Do we have any extra pens?
Say one more time.
Maybe he's sitting the edges. You're getting too close to the edges.
Flying that one side.
Come back. Keep your arms close.
Yes.
You might have been bumping the sides. You're getting too close to the edges.
Go up there. You don't have one out here, do you? They have one page. Do you have a Collado family? You don't? You don't want them to tell you? No, keep the Collado family back.
Collado family back.
It's not on your computer.
Hold on.
Hold on.
The best part is when we get to talk to her, we get to see her again, and we just get to hug her because we haven't seen her in so long.
Pay attention to what you're doing. Come on now.
That might be it. What's another metal in the cheese? Sure, take them out.
Here we go. Open sesame.
I would never go in there, even though.
Sorry.
Okay, now you're here to see Harris as well, miss?
Huh?
Who are you here to see?
Harris.
I got a quick phone call.
You didn't know he was coming? Stop crying, Mommy. Don't cry, Mommy. You didn't know the guy was coming? Because they told us he was coming at the last minute. Don't cry. Come on, take off that jacket. Come on.
Say A. Apple. B. That's duck. That's right. That's a clown. Quack, quack.
Oh, he's so beautiful.
I was like nervous. I had been nervous all night. I didn't eat last night because I was shook. I was nervous and excited that he was coming. And so when I seen him, I cried. And everybody that was in the video room with me said, calm down, get everything, so help me get myself together to prepare for him to come through the door. But it was something else. And the thing that he remembered me, that was my main problem. I thought he would forget me. And he turned around, he scanned the room and looked me dead in my face. He knew exactly who I was.
Share. Have one?
I dealt with guilt. Guilt was one of my #1 issues because my situation is what caused me to be experiencing it, and I had to get through the guilt. But I cannot say there was not enough time for me to prepare for the separation. I don't think there can never be enough time to prepare for the separation between you and your child. It takes a lot of strength from the mother, but it really determines if you're willing to make a change. And if nothing else to change, you separating from your child will change you. And it was a big dent for me.
You can think about a 2-year-old and the importance of attachment and relationships with their caregiver and their mother. It's just essential. And it's even as important when someone is 12 and they're going through the developmental stages of developing their own identity and sense of self. There are pivotal points in children's lives where parental attachment is so important.
I want you to know I'm sorry for any hurt or pain that I have caused you. So can you give me a second chance to show you some of my new skills that was given to me since being away from you? So remember, I'm going to be there for you physically, mentally, emotionally, and verbally. If you give me just a second chance, I love you, and God does too.
When I was growing up, there was no communication in the family like that. So I decided to change and break that pattern. So today we have a lot of communication and be a friend for my children. Talk to them about it, everything.
If you want to be close to your parents and you want to have a real relationship, you know, a relationship that's open, a relationship where you could just talk to them about anything, and even if you don't feel that you have the same, you don't share the same opinions that they do, that you can still be like, well, this is how I feel. If you don't have that in a parent-daughter, parent-son relationship, it's not gonna work. I just wrote her a letter that said, I told her thanks, because even though she made mistakes when she was younger, every single mistake that she made, we learned from, made me who I am today. And I think that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, the mistakes that she's made, even the right choice that she's made, but those mistakes have made me into who I am today, and helped me to believe everything I believe in today.
Something for you.
What is it?
My card that I made.
Oh my God, look at the picture. Look at you. That is so nice. What does it say?
I love you, Mario, boy Gordon.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Look at your handsome face. Look at you.
Any study you look at, anywhere, on recidivism or returning rates to prison, we always go back to cite the support upon release, because an inmate will come to prison, could be a drug addict, an alcoholic, they come here, they don't do drugs, they don't do alcohol the entire time, and they go out, and without that support out there, the part B, they tend to, it's easier for them to fall back in that behavior. Whatever we can use to tie that, to make those family ties better, is going to help us in the long run.
Who did this?
Me as a mom, I'm going to be always there for my kids. I'm going to be there to assure them that they're safe in whatever thing they do. I'm going to be their strength. So they're going to have to lean on my strength for their strength also.
I just imagine sweetheart, love. I got all the hearts. I love you. Mommy, I hope to see you soon. I miss you. I hope you come back.
The most difficult part for me is like loneliness in my heart, knowing that we all here together as a family, and I have to see them leave my presence. That's the hardest part for me. That's just the loneliness that's left with me after they're gone.
Say your goodbyes, line it up.
We going?
Yep. First have to officer first, go through the officer first.